Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I know you guys aren't on here yet, but hopefully you'll see this after it's been filmed. This is Valentine's week. Even if you don't have a Valentine, we all have Valentines in our fish tanks. Our fish tanks need love. So this week I'm going to be talking a little bit about showing your love to your fish tank and making sure you stay up on your water changes and how important that is. But first off, I'm going to show you my awesome new mug this week. Ooh, shoot. I feel it a little full. Take a sip out so I don't spill it all over myself. Oh, too late. So, check it out. Go with the flow. My mom sent me this awesome mug, this narwhal mug, earlier this week, so I figured it was a perfect place to use it for the first time and share it with everybody on here. I love my coffee and I love my awesome fish-themed mugs. So, put this back up here. A couple things I wanted to talk to you about before we get into showing your tank some love is swag for the week. A lot of times, I talk to a lot of people via Instagram, at the shows. It's just a really fun, group to be connected with. And one of the things that I got in the mail a little while back, and I forgot to talk about it because I misplaced them. Check it out. Some of my my Fritz glasses for viewing the corals. I met Jessica when I was at one of the shows and we were talking about stuff, and I was telling her how I really love those clips that you put on your phone, but with the case on my phone, it's so thick, those little clips don't work. And she's like, oh, well, you should use the glasses. So huge shout out to Jessica over at Fritz. Thank you so much for sending these my way. It's made viewing my corals a lot more fun. Speaking of corals, wow, look at that, I'm working on my segue. So this week I want to talk to you a little bit about ReefSell. Now, let's see if I can get it's kind of a shiny label, so it's not going to show up. This is the small. ReefSell is a micro-encapsulated food for your corals. The small one is. We have a larger version that is good for slower eating fish, but the ReefSell Small is what I'm going to talk about today. It's micro-encapsulated, so it's the same sort of process when you go to the pharmacy and you get those like time-release gel caps. Same sort of concept, except it's an alginate binder and there's a lot of amazing nutrients that are packed in this food. So I'm going to open this up real quick and show you. Try not to make a mess because, let's be honest, every time I've opened this I've made a mess. The little containers it comes in, it kind of looks like a moisturizer container. So once you open it, you're going to have this little instruction booklet in it. So there's that. Oh shoot. And when you open this, I highly recommend opening this over the sink. There's a little scooper in here. I'm gonna have to dig and try and find it. I just had it out a minute ago for the Instagram. I'm gonna have to buy more food. This is all ending up. Alright, so this is the little spoon or scooper that it comes with. I don't know if you can see on here, but there's a very slight minor indentation on the spoon. And let's see if I can. So this amount right here, hold it over the jar, this will feed a 30-gallon tank of your corals. So you can imagine that this jar is going to go a really, really long way. I just recently got this for my nano tank. I'm very excited. I got to use it for the first time last night. I actually went out and bought some acans this weekend from my local fish store, some acans and some star polyps for my little nano reef. Really cool. It's super exciting to watch them eat. The zoanthids that are in there, loved it. It was so cool. They kind of like closed up and then swelled. It was fun to watch. So I am eager. I've heard and seen amazing photos that you guys have sent me from using the ReefSell. Coral Couture over on Instagram have recently tried it and he really loved it. A lot of people are having great results and sending me amazing things. I wish I could like pop pictures up on the screen for this. But take my word, give ReefSell a try. It's really amazing. I will be featuring it a little bit more in my tank as it becomes more established and I get rid of the algae outbreak that I've got going on in there right now. It's bad, guys. It's really bad. So, on to the meat. Water changes. When you change your water, how much water do you change? How often do you change your water? Do you have issues changing your water? Do you gravel vac? What do you gravel? Do you sand vac? How do you do it? Take me through your process. I'm curious to know how you guys do it. Everybody's a little bit different. So I was telling over on Instagram, when I first started in the hobby several years back, I was in college and I lived on the 3rd floor of my apartment. I don't think I was supposed to have a tank as big as, I had a 55-gallon tank, and to do water changes, I would go to, like the water fill stations that are kind of next to the grocery store. A lot of times they're like blue fill for like 30 cents a gallon. You can, fill up as much water as you want. Well, I would go to those and get my RO water and haul 5-gallon jugs up 3 flights of stairs and then mix up my salt water by hand because I was a college kid, I didn't have any pumps. So I mixed it up until it was dissolved in the water, and then I would do my water changes with that. But I've come a long way. Now I've got an RODI unit at my house. When I need water, I typically plug it up. I have to hook it up outside because that's the only faucet in the house that has enough pressure for it. So I'll hook that up, and I've got a 30-gallon trash can that I fill with a pump in it, and I just add my salt. And if I need any extra, I've got the 5-gallon jugs that I just fill for top off every week. I fill those up and then top off and replace water as needed. But it wasn't always as easy. Let's see, got a little notification. Okay, thanks. Let's see, it wasn't always that easy. And, it depends on the size tank that you have. Like, this is a 75-gallon tank. I did a 15-gallon water change on it last Friday. It would have been like 4 days ago, 3 days ago. But I don't have a set schedule. Now, if I'm testing my water and my water's not testing good, then yeah, I'm gonna be like the last time I tested it, my nitrates were getting a little bit elevated. I think I did a 10-gallon water change every day for 4 days, and that helped to get them back in line. But again, trying not to overfeed. Making sure you've got a really good cleanup crew, which this tank does. So, when I get in here, I don't sand vac every time. I could, but, I've tried it sometimes and there's just not a lot of buildup, not a lot of detritus in there. So, maybe once a month when I get in there, I'll do a really good sand vac, gravel vac, sand vac, and get all that detritus out of there that, for whatever reason the hermit crabs have missed or, Frank made a mess of. Frank sometimes will go and down to the bottom if he's hungry, and he'll spit water, blow water into the sand and kind of create little divots. So any stuff that he's stirred up, I'll get out of there. But that's this tank. It's pretty sturdy. Now my little Nano Reef, that's a 20-gallon Innovative Marine. That thing, I've done one water change on it. It's only 20 gallons, so I think I did a 4-gallon water change, but I am topping that sucker off at least once a day, if not more. That it's got so much evaporation, so that's a totally different story I've got to keep on top of for that. So yeah, and then I've got back here is my little quarantine tank. I don't do water changes on that as often. It is a quarantine tank. It doesn't usually have anybody in it. It's got a clownfish in there right now who is fighting uronema, and I've been treating with Quick Cure that I believe Fritz makes. Double plug for Fritz today. It is formalin and malachite green. It works pretty good. It's very harsh. So once I'm done treating and hopefully my little clownfish is healed, I'll do water changes throughout the treatment plan as he's getting better. But once he's done, that whole tank will get wiped clean, bleached, reworked, re-ready for new fish. But any quarantine tank, I would recommend doing the same thing. So it's not anything I wouldn't have done for another quarantine tank. But yeah, so that's about what I do when it comes to water changes. I know some people were talking on Instagram that they, some of the big stores that have 500-gallon tanks, that they're doing 10-gallon water changes every day. So that, that makes sense, getting all the little bits off the bottom. See, the Mighty Nano tank had a really great I think it was a story, it might be on his page, a quick 1 minute how to do a water change. It was amazing. Like, you have no excuses for not doing water changes. And that kind of like what inspired this video. Make sure, you know, it's Valentine's Day this week. Make sure you give your tank some love. Don't neglect your tank. Water changes, it's a chore. We don't like, for the most part, we don't like doing them, but they're really not that hard. You get a good system in place so you know what you're doing, and they can be done super fast. I've done them, I haven't done it in a minute, but I've done a water change while I'm waiting for my dinner to finish cooking. It's like, just drain a bucket out, drain your buckets out, pump your buckets in, and you're good to go. So don't neglect your tanks. Make sure you do keep it up on your water changes if they need them. You know, some people say that they don't ever do water changes, that they just let their tanks do their thing. You know, I guess they got a lot of coral in there. They got a lot of macroalgae that are helping to scrub that water, and you know, they don't need it. So do what's working for you, but make sure you keep on top of your tank maintenance and show your tank and your fishes some love. I hope to see you guys next week. I think we're gonna try and plan to do these at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time over on here. Usually it's after I get done with Instagram, but I feel like if we have a set time, then, you know, I make sure I'm done over there talking and I'm over here so nobody misses it that wants to come. I hope to have you join us next week. I believe we're gonna be talking about fish care, like fish health, and resources that are available to you. So if you've got some great resources, leave comments below. Tune in next week. I would love to see you. The conversation is always a lot more fun, just more than just me talking to a screen. So have a great week, guys, and I hope to see you next Monday. Say bye, Frank.